24 this week with political consultant Susan Adler-Thorpe and ABC24 political analyst Otis Sanford. You two, we go back to 2009. We had to try and figure it out. 2009, down at Peabody Place, when I was working for that other TV station, do a show similar to this.
Right.
And we've been doing it pretty much ever since, every week. And we've covered a lot of topics in that period of time, both good, bad, and ugly, but a lot of times crooked politicians. So on that subject, let's put up Brian Kelsey's picture, shall we? There he is, the former state senator from Germantown. Interesting set of circumstances there that have developed with his story. I think it was 3 years ago that he was pled guilty to violating campaign finance laws. Then said, well, I didn't know what I was doing. And they said, yeah, but you went to Georgetown Law and you were head of the Judiciary Committee at the state capitol. What do you mean you didn't know what you were doing? Well, I just didn't know what I was doing. And tried everything in the book to delay, which seems to be a very successful tactic for a lot of politicians. Delay, until finally a Republican-friendly president takes the oath of office, he gets sentenced, and he's not there 2 weeks of a 21-month term, and he gets pardoned. I don't know where to start, but Otis, I'll let you go.
Well, let's also keep in mind that he was pardoned by a convicted felon. So let's just make sure that we understand that.
A convicted felon was pardoned by a convicted felon.
Absolutely. And so that ought to tell you everything you need to know. What we have here is political home cooking at its worst. You have a president who certainly thinks that he was done wrong. And so he listened to, obviously, some people from Tennessee who went to him. And I'm talking about elected officials, I believe, probably some congressmen who went to or got to the White House and implored this president to give a pardon to somebody who pleaded guilty to a crime. I guess I'm not surprised. I'm very disappointed by it, but I'm not surprised. This is an administration that is based on criminal activity. So, I mean, we have to understand what we have here. And now Brian Kelsey is pretty much an irrelevant guy in my mind.
Of course, this happens on both sides, Susan. It was President Biden who pardoned his son, and people had problems with that, understandably.
Yeah, and that's a whole different issue. But what I think, Otis, really my favorite part of the whole Kelsey issue happened when he announced that he got his pardon from the president, and that he said he blamed the entire issue on the Biden administration, and that the Biden administration had weaponized the DOJ, when he's the one who pled guilty.
Right.
I mean, why do you plead guilty to something if you're a Georgetown trained lawyer and you know what the law is, even though you can hide behind the screen and say you don't? Why would you blame someone else? And he conveniently overlooked the fact, what you said, is that the investigation into his corruption began under the Trump administration.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
You know, none of it made sense except kick it down the road, delay, which President Trump often is successful in doing in his law issues. But the sad part of it is it works. And Mr. Kelsey, I don't know if he's still living in Germantown anymore or not, but I can tell you this, wherever he goes, especially in this community, he's going to be recognized by folks here as a felon.
Yeah.
And he has to wear that forever. And
so will his children have to always know that about their dad.
His children will have to know that too.
Well, it's sad, but I don't want to spend any more time on that. Let's talk about something a little more fun here. I have enjoyed so much doing this show with you guys. We have had lots of laughs. Probably our Thanksgiving edition is always my favorite, the turkey of the year, and what we're most thankful for. But as you reflect back, what do you hope and believe that the show has accomplished? Susan, you first on this one.
You know, more and more in life these days, Otis, I'm looking back a lot more. Yeah. And what the show has accomplished is this show has continued to give good journalism to Memphis for the last 8 years. And it's been led by you. And we joke about a lot of things. We've shared a lot of experiences. But the one thing I think the three of us have had in common all this time, and even before here at 24, is we believe in good, solid journalism. We believe in the truth. We believe in accuracy. And I think that that's what we were able to bring to the living rooms of people in this community was the seriousness with a little humor here and there of what's important in this community. And I look forward to, honestly, I look forward to handing this over to the next generation, to the young people who didn't grow up with all of the hardcore journalism that we did with newspapers and just 3 TV stations. They grew up in the world of the internet with lots more avenues of getting the news. But I am only hopeful that they will study it and filter it and bring to everybody else their thoughts as the new generation for what is news and what's important.
Yeah, I've been struck by the biggest change since we've been doing this is misinformation and just how people fall into their own little silos where they get their information and believe it even though when they know it's not true.
Well, that's with social media. Social media has Facebook in particular. That has become, everybody is a newspaper reporter.
Right.
Everybody is a photographer. And although it has its strong good points, it has misled a lot of people, and to a large degree, not only locally, but nationally also.
Yeah. I've been struck, Otis, since my announcement, just how many people have said, yeah, you're good on TV anchoring the news and everything, but it's the Sunday show that they have brought up in comment after comment, post after post, how much they appreciated just the honest, forthright way that we've approached the show. And I think you'd agree, we've always talked about, and we've had debates before we have some controversial guests or controversial topics. We just got to tell it like it is.
No question.
And I think people have really grown to value that.
No question. No, absolutely. I mean, I hear it all the time. I mean, I go to church on Sundays, and I hear about 5 or 6 people come up and say, well, I was a little late coming to church today because I watched the 9 o'clock session. Susan will appreciate this. I see this show, Richard, as a broadcast version of an editorial section of a newspaper, where you had an institutional voice, you had opinions from knowledgeable people, you had a focus on truth-telling, holding people accountable, the ethics of journalism, and then you gave the public an opportunity. In the newspapers, it was the letters to the editor. Right. On this, people send you text messages or send you emails sometimes, and we talk about them on the show. Yep. I see this show as that in a broadcast version, because we really don't have that in the newspapers anymore. And so I think that's one of the things that I think the public really appreciates about this show is that we are trying our best to give all sides of the issue. We don't play any favorites. We are not trying to tiptoe around any issue or any politician, whether they're powerful or not. And I think that's the value that I really have held dear with this show.
And we have ruffled some feathers. I've had several prominent politicians block me on social media, refuse my phone calls after a while.
And I refused some phone calls, blocked some of them because of how mean they were.
But it is something I think that you have to do as a journalist is not be impressed by their power.
Right.
You just can't be impressed by it.
No, I think as a journalist too, you have to have the courage to say and do what is right by a community, not just by yourself, or for your future and your own career, but what is best for the community. And when you take on that responsibility as a journalist, I think that it's incredibly important, whether it's in print, whether it's social media, or whether it's in television. And I want to go back to our buddy here, Richard. I can't tell the people who've watched this show all these years, first of all, my heartfelt thanks to believing in all of us. But this is the guy who steered the ship. This is the guy who got in touch with us on sometimes at midnight on Thursday when you're fast asleep and you hear the beep on your phone, or Friday morning saying, what do you think of these topics? Here are the topics. And he honestly would guide us through the best. He's the best of the best.
No question about it. And in my affection for Richard, I'm actually wearing one of his ties today as a token of appreciation. He has some fancy ties. And I'm wearing one today.
I wanted to tie, but he would only give me his undershirt.
I said, thanks for dressing up, Susan. I appreciate it. Look, let's bring Keith in here real quick. We have one more segment to go, but before you get out of here.
I got to get out of here, but I think, you said tokens of appreciation, and a farewell tour is supposed to have some tokens of appreciation, right?
Yeah.
And we're going to miss you, right? You're irreplaceable, right? I'm going to read a little poem. Would you hold my poem while I give him these gifts? First of all, you said you play a little golf, so I wanted to give you a golf glove right here. I think that would be really
Memorial
nice.
Hospital on it.
Does it say
That's
Baptist
great.
on it? Didn't know where you were going.
I have a special spot for
Okay,
this.
well, no, you should put that in your golf bag, and then every good golf bag needs some great golf socks in them, right? So I want to make sure you had those.
right.
We want to appreciate you and thank you for all that you mean. You're irreplaceable, hard to replace, but say no to Earl. All right, have a great day. God bless you.
Bye-bye. Flip shoes. That's great.
Thanks.